Terry here with the Terry Sullivan Show. Great episode today. We're at Starship Bagels in Lewisville on Main Street. I love bagels. Bagels love me. Look at me. Bagels love me. I can't wait to get inside with Oren Salomon, who owns Starship Bagels, not only this location, but a couple of others. And we're going to talk all about him, his shop, how well he's doing. He's won some great awards last year in New York for, I think, the #1 bagel in the United States. Let's go see what he's got. Oren, how are you, man? How you doing?
Doing great.
I heard you talking about my cinnamon rolls. Yeah,
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
Listen, people like her cinnamon rolls more than my barbecue. That ain't right. I'm gonna have to probably send her over here to work for you.
Come for the barbecue, stay for the cinnamon rolls.
I'm so glad to be here. By the way, I love bagels, and so I got one when I came in, and I had to get another one, and I'm probably gonna get a couple more before we get done. You opened this in 2021.
Correct, yeah.
Were we still in COVID at the time?
We were, yeah. It was still middle pandemic. Basically, this restaurant was my dad's. It was called the Green Truck Cafe. He opened it in February 2020, and the whole pandemic thing happened. So he was out by November. He kind of had this empty space, and I was looking to open a bagel shop and put the two together, and here we are.
This is amazing, and you've opened one in downtown Dallas.
Yeah.
That's doing very well.
Yeah, we're opening another one in North Dallas this week.
You gotta slow down. You gotta pace yourself. You're gonna make too much money. Everybody,
That'd be nice.
I know, right? Everybody knows about this bagel shop. You won some great awards. Tell us about that. You went to New York.
We were invited last year to New York Bagel Fest, which is a competition primarily of New York bagel shops, but they invite some other shops from across the country and Canada. We were invited to compete. We ended up winning the best bagel competition, which was a blind taste test.
How do you do that? How do you go from Texas to New York and win the best bagel? I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah, a lot
Probably because you have the best bagel.
I think so. We were really fortunate to be invited, and I told Sam, the organizer, that my one criteria was I wanted access to a facility where I could, produce bagels the traditional way, the way that we do here. And he set me up with a bagel shop in New York called Bagel Market. We were actually able to use their facility. I went up there for a week to practice, and then another week before the event to practice again. I had time to dial in the process, and by the time the event came, we had a bagel we were proud of, and they agreed.
You know what I want to do? I want to get my hands dirty. Are they making some dough back here?
Yeah, they're mixing some dough right now.
Can we go back here?
Absolutely.
Trey, let's go to the back. So we're walking to the back. I'm going to find out about how to make bagels, right? From the best bagel maker. We're walking by this green truck. It's got all kinds of vegetables in it. What is the significance of this truck?
This was my dad's restaurant. It was called the Green Truck Cafe. He brought this truck in here, kind of a remembrance of his time growing up on a farm in Israel. His dad had a truck that was just like this one. We kind of wanted to honor that tradition of it being a green truck and associated with the farm, so we keep our produce right here in the back of the truck. This is kind of our nod to tradition, that we all started somewhere, and sometimes our story starts even before we were born, and inherit a lot of history and tradition as well.
Does your dad work here with you, or is he retired?
My dad does not work at this shop. He actually is the landlord here. He owns the shopping center, so that's why he opened his restaurant here.
I'm not so sure that I'd want my dad as my landlord, but
it's a tough situation.
It's working out, right? I spent a great deal of time in Israel. I actually worked for Israel back in the early 2000s. Spent a lot of time in Jerusalem, a lot of time in Tel Aviv, a lot of time in Haifa. Were you born in Israel?
No, I was born in Brooklyn, actually.
That's almost like Israel.
It's got more Jews than most cities in Israel, yeah, so.
All right, Oren, let's go back here and let's take a look.
Absolutely.
Make way, we're coming through. You guys working, or y'all just hanging out?
Hanging out.
You just hardly working, aren't you?
Yeah.
First of all, that's the biggest mixer I've ever seen.
Really? Because we're about to get a bigger one.
A bigger one. Look, how many gallons is this?
These aren't measured in gallons. This is an 160-quart mixer. At the time, this was the biggest mixer that we could fit through our door. We've since expanded to a double door in order to get the bigger mixer, and so that's kind of our next upgrade. This mixer can mix one 50-pound bag of flour at a time, which will produce about 250 bagels, and we're looking to double that size.
I need one of those. I'm gonna have Heidi come down here and mix our cinnamon rolls on this mixer. So I'm just kidding about that. Take us through the process. Where where do we start? When we're gonna make a dough to make bagels, where do we start?
Well, we start from raw ingredients. That's kind of the whole trick.
So you make it from scratch?
From absolute scratch, from raw ingredients. Actually, one of the ingredients is a little piece of yesterday's dough. There's continuity every day.
A little piece of yesterday's dough?
Yes.
What does that mean? You put that in your pocket?
No, we save a little bit of the dough each day and put it into our walk-in. And basically what that does is it helps kind of kickstart the fermentation. Because when you're bringing a dough together, what you're trying to do is have all the ingredients kind of interplay and create a playground for the yeast activity so that you can get proper fermentation. Bringing dough that's already been partially fermented and throwing it in there kind of helps promote the right activity. But it's also kind of a romantic thing because it means that each batch is connected to the past.
Oren, you actually started in your kitchen at home 7 years ago making bagels for family and friends.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they said, you got to do this for a living? How'd that work?
I don't know about for a living, but I made the first batch of bagels 7 years in my kitchen. It was just supposed to be a home project, but the minimum dough batch is about a dozen. So I had some friends over to eat the bagels with me, and they said, wow, these are better than any bagels we can get. You're a bagel guy now. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, they pulled out money, they put it on the table, and they said, take this, you're making us bagels next weekend.
So you're a bagel guy?
Pretty much, yeah. So I made bagels for them, and then they shared it with their friends, and then their friends wanted to place an order, and quickly outgrew my kitchen. And I had a friend who was starting a co-working space out of a church, and she invited me to make bagels out of the church. I was able to scale up and, make a few hundred at a time, come in the morning, make the bagels, and then deliver them at night. Kind of a weird cadence, but it gave me the opportunity to work on bigger equipment and to serve a greater number of people, and one thing led to the next.
So, everybody in life wants to know their destiny. What did God create me for? What am I supposed to be doing? Is this your destiny? Is this what God created you to do?
I don't know if this is my destiny, but this is definitely my passion, and I'm very thankful that I get the opportunity to pursue it. And it's really only because people come in and enjoy it. I'm really thankful to the community for supporting me and giving me the opportunity to pursue this.
You know who supports you the most in this community is our mayor. TJ talks about your bagels. He comes to my barbecue shop talking about your bagels. I don't even know how that happens.
We're really fortunate that we have such an avid bagel fan and also Star Trek fan.
He is.
We're very space themed here at Starship Bagel. Our oven, the brand is actually Picard. Which happens to be one of the greatest coincidences ever. But yeah, TJ came in here the day that we installed the oven, saw the brand, went home to put on his Captain Picard t-shirt and came back and took a selfie with it.
He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. So this is Picard. This is your oven.
Yeah.
How many bagels will this thing hold?
So this thing can hold about 300 bagels at a time. It's got 4 rotating shelves, and each shelf can fit about 72 bagels. When we came in here originally, we used the equipment that was in here, which was a deep fryer is what we boiled in, and a convection oven is what we baked in. So one piece at a time, we upgraded the equipment, and ultimately landed on this thing, which is basically the Rolls Royce of bagel ovens.
Yeah.
And so the whole idea behind it is that the oven and the process are kind of unified. Mm-hmm. So one, bagels are a lot different than a lot of other baking because normally with baking, you're gonna bake on trays, you're gonna fill up your oven pretty fast because your batches are big and you kind of, pre-batch them on your tray, load up all your trays, and then your oven goes to work. Mm-hmm. That's not how bagel baking works. Bagels are made one at a time. We basically dump them into the kettle to boil them, and then we put them here on boards. They go into the oven on the board, and then we actually let them go for 2 rotations to let the bagels kind of set on top so they'll be ready to finish on the hearth. So we take the board, flip it, and then the bagel actually finishes on the bagel shelf itself.
How many bagels do you make a day?
Well, that number will be going up pretty soon, but on the weekdays we make a little under 1,000. On the weekends, pushing up closer to 1,500 to 2,000.
Did you hear that? 1,000 to 1,500 bagels a day. I could eat that many a day.
And we're anticipating that number to go up quite a bit with the opening of our new store.
So let's go back over here. Now he pulled this dough out of the mixer. You ready? Did you see that? He can touch it, I can touch it.
Well, that's the beauty of dough is, we work with our hands.
Now he's putting in a deal that plops it out into a...
Yeah, so this is our bagel rolling machine right here.
Okay, let's go over here,
And basically it's got an integrated dough divider.
So he's
feeding the hopper, and basically what that'll do is it'll use a suction device to pull out exactly 1 bagel at a time. It'll bring it up into that portioning cup over there. And then basically it'll slide it across that plastic piece with a dough cutter, and it'll cut one little ball at a time that will become a bagel.
I'm gonna throw that in there. Here, I gotta throw that in there. I gotta do this. And then I saw him mash it down. I'm a bagel maker. You're a doggone good bagel maker. We're gonna call you the bagel master. Oh, I wanna do that. I got your job. I got it. I'm moving. Okay. Now this is all you've got left. I'm assuming that these were full when we started today.
Absolutely. We're towards the end of the day, so we try to bake as many as we need to sell, but we're always concerned with the tension between availability and food waste. Kind of the drawback of having a big menu, which is also why we try to have as few bagels as possible. We keep our best sellers, and if something's not popular, we bring it back around as a limited time.
That's one thing that a lot of people in the restaurant business or food business can't get a grasp on is how important it is to control that waste. It'll kill you.
Waste will kill the bottom line, but more than anything else, we're making food, and we don't want food to go to waste,
Oren, tell me about what bagels that we still have left here.
Yeah, absolutely. We focus on the plain bagel. That is our literal bread and butter. That's the bagel that won the best bagel at Bagel Fest. And as a baker, I put all that love into the dough, as you saw back there. And the plain bagel is what will give you, the most pure taste of that dough. It also brings out the bagel characteristics that we want to see in the most evident way. Because what we're really trying to promote is kind of the duality of two textures. We want like a very, very crispy crunch on the outside and a deep chew on the inside with a lot of, malty, deep fermented flavor. Because the plain bagel doesn't have any seeds on the crust, you get the truest, crispiest crust, and you don't have any other flavors distracting from the bagel flavor. So any bagel place that's worth its salt, you should be able to just eat right into a plain bagel and enjoy it. And if not, then maybe find another bagel place.
Or what my favorite bagel is?
What's the everything?
That everything bagel.
That is our most popular bagel by far, as is every other bagel shop in the world. So
can I have one of those bagels?
Absolutely. Let's get you one.
I'm gonna get one of these bagels here. Hey, Lonnie.
Hi, Terry.
Welcome to the Terry Sullivan Show.
Oh.
You came to my restaurant.
I did come to your
and we had a conversation. So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
But I would like to have one of those everything bagels toasted with cream cheese.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Oh, thank you, Leilani.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm about to. Oh, look at that. Oh, here we go.
Starship Bagel 향이
Terry, like he.
I could eat a dozen of these a day. I can't smile because I got cream cheese all in my teeth, but I want to smile. Thank you. What am I holding here?
So what you're holding there is our Millennial Falcon. It's our kind of take on avocado toast. And so the joke is about millennials going broke on eating avocado toast. And we kind of combined it with the famous Star Wars ship, the Millennium Falcon, so it's the Millennial Falcon. Any bagel of your choice, any cream cheese, tomato, avocado, smashed avocado, alfalfa sprouts, pickled red onion, and red chili flakes.
It looks amazing, and I really want to take a bite of it, but it belongs to Trey, our production guy, so I'm afraid that he'll hit me. But it looks amazing. Is this what you sell the most of?
Our most popular sandwich is actually the bagel and schmear, which is just our basic offering. And to be honest, I really wouldn't have it any other way because bagels are really supposed to be a peasant food, accessible to anyone. One of the things I love about Starship Bagel is you walk in, you watch someone spend $5, the next person comes in and buys 2 dozen, a bunch of schmear, spends $100. To me, it's really cool to be able to serve literally all walks of life. Anytime you come into our dining room, you'll see people of different ages. This isn't just a bagel shop for one group of people. It's not a fancy bagel shop, it's a bagel shop for everybody, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's a great bagel shop, and by the way, I think that if I were buying today, I'd have spent about $100 just on bagels that I ate. But anyway, what a great bagel, what a great shop, and I'm gonna have a bite of this. Well, that wraps it up this week. What a great show. I sure enjoyed getting to know Oren. Great bagel shop. Go down there and see them. They're on Main Street, right next door to Dollar General. Best bagels in town. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.